Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The hallway of the Chancellor Winters building was quiet when Lily Winters stepped through the sliding glass doors, her heels softly tapping against the polished marble. She paused just inside the lobby, scanning the familiar setting that now felt like a dream after her extended absence. The scent of fresh flowers filled the space and everything looked just as she'd left it, but she wasn't the same. Her maternity leave had taken her far away from the chaos of Genoa City, from boardroom brawls and personal betrayals. She had spent months rebuilding herself in the quiet of nature, her newborn nestled against her chest, and had sworn not to get pulled back into the storm she left behind. And yet, here she was, back again. Lily moved briskly through the building, heading toward her office. As she turned the corner, a familiar voice caught her off guard. "Well, look who the wind blew in." She froze. The voice was unmistakable, smooth, rich, and threaded with just a hint of wounded charm. Slowly, she turned to find Kane leaning against the wall, arms crossed, wearing a guarded smile. Lily met his gaze, masking the pang in her chest with an arched brow. "Kane, you didn't tell me you were coming back today." "I didn't think I had to," she replied coolly, brushing past him and unlocking her door. "I figured they would travel fast enough." He followed her inside uninvited, closing the door behind them. "Lily, don't do this. We've both had time to think. You and we were good once." She laughed softly, bitterly. "Once, and then you broke everything. I haven't forgotten that." Kane stepped closer, "And yet here we are. You're back in Genoa City, back in this office, back where we used to build something real." She turned to face him, her jaw clenched. "I'm not here to reminisce. I'm here for business, and for Victor." Kane's expression darkened. "So it's true, you're involved in that scheme with Victor." Lily didn't flinch. "It's not what you think." "Isn't it?" Kane stepped closer still, his voice dropping. "You helped Victor kidnap me, Lily." "No one was hurt," she said sharply, "and it wasn't about you, it was about what was necessary." Kane's eyes searched hers. "You still believe in ends justifying the means?" She looked away, the silence between them thickening. "I believe in survival and protecting the ones I love." He took a breath, the anger slowly melting into something softer. "So you still love me?" She blinked. "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to." A knock at the door interrupted the tension. Devon Hamilton walked in, glancing between them. "Sorry to break up whatever this is, but Lily, we've got a board meeting in 20. Lily gave a quick nod, brushing past Kane again. "I'll be there." Devon gave Kane a look. "You good mans?" Kane offered a tight smile. "Always." But once Lily left the room, Kane's mask cracked. He sat on the edge of her desk and ran a hand through his hair. He hadn't expected the pain to come rushing back this fast. Seeing her again, after everything, hurt more than he'd prepared for. Later that afternoon, Lily sat in the park outside Enterprises, lost in thought. She watched a young couple walk by with a baby stroller and felt a bittersweet pull in her chest. Her phone buzzed beside her, a message from Victor. "Everything in place for phase 2, don't let Kane become a problem." She stared at the screen, her fingers trembling before she shut the phone off. Kane wasn't the problem, her heart was. Meanwhile, back at Society, Kane met with Billy Flynn, the man to be circling Lily in her absence. Billy had charm, poise, and the kind of ease that made Kane grit his teeth. But there was something else. Billy had access to Lily's trust. "You looking to stir up trouble?" Kane asked as Billy sipped his drink. Billy smirked. "Only if you call truth trouble. I'm not the past, Kane, you are." Kane leaned forward, jaw tight. "Lily and I have history." "History doesn't mean future," Billy replied, "and from what I hear she's not looking back." Kane left the table seething, determined to prove otherwise. That night he showed up at Lily's apartment unannounced. She answered the door in a silk robe, hair damp from a shower. "Kane, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk." She hesitated, then let him in. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said, "no matter how much time passes, no matter what we go through." "That's the problem," she said quietly. "We keep going through the same thing, lies, betrayals, pain." "But we also had love," Kane insisted. "Don't tell me that meant nothing." Lily turned away. It didn't mean nothing, but it also wasn't enough. Kane stepped behind her, his voice a whisper. "It could be." Lily closed her eyes, swaying slightly as he reached for her hand. Their fingers touched. The warmth was still there, the pull undeniable, but just as quickly she pulled away. "I can't, Kane." "Because of Billy." She shook her head. Because of me. The next day, Kane met with at the bar in crimson lights, hoping for insight into what Victor was planning. Was tight-lipped, but something in her demeanor told him there was more than just business behind Lily's involvement. Don't underestimate my uncle, she warned, or Lily. Kane's jaw clenched. I don't. He spent the evening combing through old emails and texts, looking for anything that might explain how deep Lily was in. What he found instead were photos, vacation pictures, birthday messages, notes scribbled on napkins, pieces of a love he thought was buried but was clearly still alive in the corners of his memory. At Tower, Victor watched security footage from earlier that week, Kane confronting Billy, Lily packing her apartment. A slow smile crept over Victor's face. The tension was building, exactly as he wanted. He called Lily. Time to push him, Victor said. He needs to believe you've chosen a side. I haven't, Lily said. You will, Victor replied, or you'll lose everything. Torn between loyalty and longing, Lily found herself spiraling. Her dreams were filled with flashbacks, Kane holding her after a miscarriage, Kane her from heartbreak, Kane dancing with her under moonlight. Her waking hours were filled with guilt. She met him again 2 nights later at Chancellor Park. Tell me the truth, he said. Do you still love me? Yes, she whispered, the words stolen by the wind. He stepped closer. Then why are you helping Victor? Because if I don't, someone else pays the price. Who? She looked away, tears stinging her eyes. My son. That stunned Kane into silence. In all the chaos, he'd forgotten the thing that had once bound them tighter than rings or vows, their children. You think I wouldn't protect him too? He asked hoarsely. I can't risk it, she replied. He stepped back. So that's it, you'll sacrifice us instead. She didn't answer, and that silence was enough. The next morning, the news broke across Genoa City like a lightning bolt. Victor's secret scheme had collapsed, and several allies were being questioned by the authorities. Lily was not among them. Kane stood outside the building, watching as Lily walked out in a press of reporters and flashing cameras. She looked poised, untouchable, as though the storm hadn't touched her, but he knew better. Their eyes met across the crowd, no words were exchanged, no smiles, just that lingering tension of love that had nowhere to go. Later that evening, in the quiet of his hotel room, Kane poured a drink and stared at the door, hoping, maybe foolishly, that she would walk through it. And an hour later, she did. She stood there without speaking, her eyes red, her arms wrapped around herself. I lost myself, she said, trying to fix everything. He stepped forward slowly, and now. She exhaled, now I just want to feel something real again. He took her hand. And for the first time in months, she didn't pull away. Kane didn't speak. He simply closed the door behind her and let the silence fill the room. Lily stood there, unmoving, as if unsure what to do next. The weight of their history hung between them, too heavy to ignore, too delicate to handle recklessly. I shouldn't have come, she said quietly. But you did, he replied, stepping closer, so let's not pretend it doesn't mean something. She looked up, eyes shining with unshed tears. Everything I've done since coming back, it's been survival, for my son, for my company, for control. And where did that leave us? Kane asked. Did it help you forget? No, she said, it made me remember. He reached for her hand again. This time she didn't hesitate. The warmth between them was fragile, but it was still there, still alive, burning quietly like an ember waiting for air. I hated you, she whispered. I hated myself, he said, every day you were gone. I tried to hate you longer, she continued, voice trembling. I tried to replace you with business, with silence, with distance. I even let Victor use me just so I could feel powerful again. Kane flinched. Why didn't you just talk to me? Because I thought you were better off without me. He stepped closer, cupping her cheek. I was never better without you, I just got better at pretending. Lily's breath caught, she leaned into his touch, and for a moment they were no longer separated by choices or consequences. They were just Kane and Lily. That night she didn't go back to her own apartment. They stayed together, talking, laughing, crying. They curled into each other like two halves finally reuniting after being torn apart. But morning brought reality. The knock at the hotel door came early, urgent and heavy. Kane pulled on a shirt and opened the door to find Nate standing there with a grim expression. You've got to come too now. Why? Lily asked from behind Kane, pulling on her coat. Because Victor's gone, Nate said. He's missing, and so is Billy Flynn. Lily felt her stomach plummet. What? We think someone got to them, and they left something behind with your name on it. An hour later, the three of them were in Victor's private office at Enterprises. The security team had cleared the place, and in the center of the desk was a sealed envelope addressed to Lily. With trembling fingers, she opened it. Inside was a single photo, her standing on the terrace at the Chancellor Mansion, holding her son taken from a distance. On the back was a note in Victor's hand. They know, protect what matters. Her hands shook as she lowered the photo. Who? Kane asked, voice tight. She looked at Nate. Who else knew about the scheme? Just a handful of people, me, Victoria, Billy, and a shadow investor Victor was courting, a man named Black. Kane frowned. That name sounds familiar. It should, Nate replied. He was connected to the offshore deals you investigated before Lily left. Lily exhaled shakily. Victor always said was dangerous, but I thought he had him under control. No one controls Black, Nate said. He's more ghost than man. If he's involved, we need to act fast. Kane turned to Lily. We're going to your son now. They left the building in a rush, with Devon arranging for private security. Lily's heart pounded as she reached the house where her son was staying with her mother. Kane stayed by her side the entire time, taking charge when her nerves threatened to break her. By nightfall, her son was safe, moved to a secure location, but Victor and Billy remained missing. Days passed, leads turned cold, Black's name resurfaced in but nothing concrete. Lily tried to focus on business but everything felt hollow. Kane refused to leave her side and slowly her walls began to drop. They were rebuilding brick by brick, moment by moment. One evening, as the winter wind howled outside, they sat together in front of a fire in Kane's apartment. He poured her a glass of wine and passed it to her. You remember Paris? He asked. She smiled faintly. You mean the one night we actually got sleep? You woke up first, he said. You were standing by the window in that white hotel robe looking out at the city. I thought you looked like a dream. She laughed, shaking her head. That trip was the last time we were really happy, wasn't it? Yeah, he said softly, it was. There was a long silence, the kind that didn't need to be filled. I want to try again, Lily said suddenly, but this time no lies, no schemes, no running. Kane looked at her, eyes heavy with emotion. I never stopped loving you, I just didn't know if I still deserved you. Let's find out, she whispered. And in that moment they kissed, not with desperation but with quiet reverence. It was a beginning again. But Genoa City wasn't finished with them. A week later, Victor returned, bruised, bloodied but alive. He walked into Enterprises like a ghost resurrected. Kane and Lily were called in immediately. Victor sat in his chair, eyes shadowed. Gone for now, but he knows everything. What do you mean everything? Lily asked. I mean your son, the scheme, the blackmail, the money, all of it. I bought us time, but we need to be smart. Where Billy? Kane asked. Victor's face darkened. He didn't make it. Lily gasped, hand to her mouth. Billy Flynn, who'd once represented temptation and safety, was gone. Victor continued, I need you both to step up. The board will want blood. We need to get ahead of this before it turns on you. Lily squared her shoulders. We'll handle it. They did. Lily returned to Chancellor Winters with a new sense of clarity. She and Kane worked together again, not just as partners in business but as partners in life. Slowly, the whispers died down, the board calmed, Nate took over some of Victor's duties, and Black vanished from the headlines. Months passed, spring crept into the city. Lily found herself smiling more often, her heart lighter. One afternoon, she stood in the Chancellor Winters conference room for a meeting when Kane entered holding a small velvet box. She blinked. What's that? I was going to wait until dinner, he said, walking toward her, but I realized something. What? He opened the box to reveal a delicate silver ring with a new stone, a clean break from the past. I don't need a big ceremony, I don't need an audience, I just need you. Lily's breath caught. Marry me again, but this time just for us. Tears filled her eyes. Yes. They married in secret 2 weeks later, on a hill overlooking the lake, just them, the children, and a justice of the peace. There were no grand declarations, no reporters, just promises whispered under the sky and a kiss to seal the past away. In time, Victor regained control of his empire, Devon expanded his reach, found new love, and Lily and Cain found what they had once lost, peace. They returned not just to each other but to themselves, and as the days grew warmer and life settled into its rhythm, Cain would sometimes wake up in the quiet morning light and watch Lily sleep beside him. And he'd whisper not to wake her but just to remember, "We made it."